What's up, guys? Back with another video, and today we are on NBA 2K20. I am here with Badgemon. We are going to be doing NBA analysis, what is going on in the bubble the past week. So we're going to be doing this I'm going to be posting a video every single Saturday on what's going on in the bubble. Stay tuned for the most important parts that has gone on. We're not going to go over like a game from, what game was it? The Phoenix Suns and Washington Wizards. I don't need to talk about that game, or Brooklyn and Washington. That game I don't really need to talk about. We're just going to talk about important parts, what's gone on with players, what's happened, like injuries, what do you think of this, and stuff like that. We're just going to be giving you our thoughts on what's been going on the past week, and let's hop right into it. Alright, so what I want to start off with you, Badgemon, is what do you think about players taking a knee during the national anthem, and what do you think about Jonathan Isaac standing up during the national anthem?
I think that players have the freedom, like they should have the freedom to take a knee because it's their country. They're doing it from their own purpose, just like Colin Kaepernick always did in the NFL. And no one respected him for it, but honestly, I really did respect him for it because he's not standing obviously, but he's taking a knee for what's right. And he feels like that's a way to show that he's showing political justice.
Alright, I completely agree. I think the players are more than capable of doing what they think is right to themselves. A lot of players just don't respect what's been going on with the Black Lives. Like, a lot of people are together on this Black Lives Matter movement. A lot of the players are on the court talking about having stuff on their back, like education reform, equality, a lot of different things. So I think it's so amazing how everyone in the NBA and some other people have been come together and shown what this is like. I think it's amazing. I think it's super cool. And yeah, so we're gonna move on. What we're moving on to is a crazy game. We're going to move on to the Toronto Raptors Los Angeles game. So I really want to talk about your thoughts on the amazing defensive effort that Toronto did to LeBron and Anthony Davis on that game. So what I think is amazing is that he only had that game. LeBron James only had 20 points that game, and I think Anthony Davis had around like 13 or something, around that range. I'm not really sure. So what do you think about that? What do you think the Raptors did basically that game?
I think the story is how Fred VanVleet really shut down Danny Green, making him shoot 0 from 8 from the field, 0 from 5 from 3 against his former team. And I also think one of the big stories of that is how Kyle Lowry exploded, 5 from 9 from 3, 31 points, taking a lot of charges as he always
33
does.
33 points.
33 points, my bad. Just even
Yeah.
better of a stat line. Kyle Lowry, I feel like he just showed up when it mattered. And I feel like Anthony Davis and LeBron, OG Anunoby, he is very lackluster on offense, but what he does bring is stellar defense to the table, and he really showed it on all of the all-star small forwards in the league, including Kawhi, LeBron, and he's just showing it now that he could do it, and he did it against LeBron, holding him to 20 points.
Yeah, I completely agree with this, what just happened in that game. I think the Toronto's defense was out of this world. It was just amazing. Davis only had 7 shots in field goal. He went 2 for 7 and 1 for 3 at 3-point range. So he did have 14 points. Sorry, I thought he had 13. He did have 14 points, which is not very good for him, and I don't think he had a great game. His other stat lines were 6 rebounds and 3 assists, but LeBron James had a double-double, with 10 rebounds, 20 points, and 5 assists, which is an amazing stat line, but not as the points where he needed them to be. So I think they played out of their minds defensively to stop the second greatest player of all time and the best big man in the league. So we're going to move on to the TJ Warren game. What do you think about that? He scored 53 points, which was ridiculous.
He scored 53, and he also had 9 3-point. Like, he made 9 threes that game. I think he just honestly exploded that game. His next game after that, he dropped 25, I believe. He had 87 in the first 2 games. TJ Warren really had a great game, and what's sad about that is he took away from Joel Embiid's 41-21 game, but TJ Warren dropping a career high 53. That is just something that you would never see, especially with Victor Oladipo coming back from injury. Domantas Sabonis, Miles Turner, they're only in the front court. They can't carry the offense. And TJ Warren showed that he could be that offensive anchor that they need. They could definitely lock it down in the paint with Sabonis and Turner. I think Turner is definitely one of the best shot blockers in the league. But I really feel like if TJ Warren's that offensive spark plug, they could be a sneaky 6th seed.
To add on to that, Sabonis wasn't playing.
Sabonis was injured?
It's on. I'm on ESPN right now. It's just he said he didn't get any minutes on the game. The starters were Drew Holiday, TJ Warren, Miles Turner, Victor Oladipo, and Aaron Holiday.
Wow.
And then he wasn't on the bench.
He might have been injured then.
Yeah, I don't think he played that game, which is amazing for them. And they squeezed out the win against 76ers, which helps them so much in the seeding, in my opinion.
Yeah, I really
think it helps them.
These 8 seeding games really mean a lot, and getting that win against the Phillies, which is another Eastern Conference team that is doing pretty well. I feel like that's just a big win for them, and it shows that if they match up with them in a 7-game series, they could do some damage.
Yeah, so I think that, coming into the 8 seeding game rule, that if you're within 4 points of the 8 seed, I think you do like another play game, it's like a mini playoff. Yeah, which is crazy, and I think it's such a smart rule, in my opinion.
I think the East is already set. I don't think the Washington Wizards have a chance. But I feel like the West, the 8 seed is really up for grabs right now between Memphis, San Antonio, Sacramento, and Portland. I don't think Phoenix has a chance if we're being real with each other, but between those 4 teams, they have a very good shot at the 8 seed.
Alright, so what we're going to talk about is how well De'Aaron Fox has been playing. I know, Vajmon, you wanted to talk about him. He's been exploding off the rip since he's been in the bubble. I think he's averaging like a bit above 30 in the bubble, right? Am I
No,
mistaken?
I think he's averaging just under, just because tonight he only had a 25-ish point performance. Yeah, only 25, I know. De'Aaron Fox, he dropped the first game 39 points in 38 minutes. That's over a point a minute. Then he had a 30-point and 10 assist game with 3 steals, 2 blocks. Man is just honestly insane. His worst game came in a second game against the Spurs, I'm pretty sure, where he had around 12, 13 points. Wasn't his best performance, but he only did play 25 minutes due to an ankle soreness that he came off with. And then tonight, well, not tonight, yesterday, the day that you're seeing this, he exploded again for another 25-point performance.
Yeah, so he only did have 13 points against the Orlando Magic, which they did lose 132 to 116.
16.
Yeah, and he did have 25 minutes. He went 5 for 10 from the field, 0 for 1 from 3-point, and 3 for 5 from free throw. So I think it was, I don't know. This game it's not his fault. He was minus 23 in his plus minus. Goes to show that they didn't play well when he was on the court. I'm not saying that they don't play well with him on the court. I'm just saying that game, their team was just getting dominated. And their whole starting lineup was minuses. So,
in my opinion, I think that Luke Walton is the worst coach. I feel like he doesn't let De'Aaron Fox and Buddy Hield run their fast-paced offense. They make him do more of a space and pace, which is more of a patient type of offense. And De'Aaron Fox is one of the quickest players in the league, and to make him run a slow offense like that just doesn't work.
Yeah, I completely agree. So we're gonna move on to the crazy story about the Jonathan Isaac injury. I feel so bad for that guy. He tore his ACL. If you didn't know, I feel so bad. He was really highly ranked in potential, in my opinion. I think he was going to be something different, in my opinion, if he had a bit more years. But since he tore his ACL, he like Derrick Rose, I don't think he's going to be the same like when he comes back. So I don't know, but I feel bad for him. I think he was such a good player before he got injured. So what's your thoughts?
I think the scariest thing is that Jonathan Isaac went for a hop step and tore his ACL the same exact way that Derrick Rose did hop step and tore his ACL the first time in Chicago. He's never been the same since. And Jonathan Isaac, in my opinion, had Defensive Player of the Year potential just because of how tall he is and how good he is on the defensive side. This man locked down defenders every day. And honestly, day in and day out, the Magic just need that defense, and they're not going to get it anymore. So I don't know how they're going to do without him, but I really do feel bad for him as well. This man had very good potential in the league, and he also, I feel like he had Defensive Player of the Year potential.
Alright, so on Tuesday, on Monday, August 3rd, there were some crazy high points. Fred VanVleet had 36 points. Michael Porter Jr. had 37 for Denver. Yeah, for Denver. TJ Warren had another amazing game, 34 points. Joel Embiid had 27, and Anthony Davis had another 42, with Donovan Mitchell losing to them with 33. Donovan Mitchell is my favorite player, no question about it. I think he's just out of this world. He has so much potential. Even though they lost to Los Angeles, what are you going to do? So, thoughts on Anthony Davis. How do you think he's been playing in the bubble so far?
That game against the Jazz is the second Lakers game I watched in the bubble. I watched the Raptors one, and I watched that one. That game in the fourth quarter, if you could find the highlight, I recommend you put it up.
Sometimes, Mike, it's as simple as you got to want to see the open man. He has wanted to see the open man, and he's found him.
Davis, step back three. Bang! And the foul! Anthony Davis capping off a brilliant
game. Basically, he head topped Rudy Gobert, back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year, 4-3. It was honestly insane. One of the nicest shots I've ever seen. It was from a big man who's 7 foot plus, doesn't really shoot threes. This Anthony Davis is really something special for the Lakers, and I feel like Anthony Davis really is the offensive anchor on that team, just because LeBron is more of a passer now than a scorer.
I wouldn't say he's the scoring anchor for the team. I'd say he is the number one scoring option for that team. But LeBron gets his fair share of the scoring just because it's LeBron, don't get me wrong. He's just out of this world. Even though he is leading the league with 10.5 assists per game, which is crazy numbers for him, especially.
35-year-old.
Yeah, and he right now had better stats coming into the bubble than he did in prime Heat days, which goes to show that he's never had like a bad season.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Because Miami Heat days is when he won the Finals MVP. He's won his MVP, one of his MVPs.
Yeah, he beat the Spurs, the craziest Spurs team, in my opinion. It was one of the greatest Spurs teams of all time. While we're still talking, what do you think about the Devin Booker post-fade game winner?
It was the outlet away, and the Suns have it. 6 to play. Booker, this is for the win. Got it!
I think it was crazy. I think it was a big upset, in my opinion.
Personally, oh yeah, go ahead.
Which was cool. Even though it was a mid-range, I get it, but I think it was pretty cool, so I'm going to give it to him. I think it was something different. I think he's so good, in my opinion, so, yeah.
Personally, I think that game had no purpose in the NBA, like bubble for the playoff seeding, because I don't think either of the teams are doing great. Because that was against the Wizards, right?
I think so. I'm
Yeah.
not entirely sure.
I'm pretty sure it was against the Wizards, so neither of those teams have any big purpose in the NBA. I think they're the two worst teams in the bubble, but I'm not going to take away that was a great shot by Devin Booker, and I think Devin Booker is probably one of the top scorers in the league, so I'm not surprised seeing him do that.
Yeah, and I think it was crazy. Actually, it wasn't against the Wizards. This is going to change your whole opinion. It was against the LA Lakers. Not Lakers, Clippers.
Oh, okay, so then that they've got the dub?
Yeah, they won 117-115.
That's a major upset, and that just shows that, honestly, these seeding games matter to a point where the Clippers could be down a seeding rank, and let's say what's another top team in the West besides the Lakers?
Top team in the West,
Like the Rockets,
Houston,
let's say. Yeah. Let's say the Rockets could take, or the Mavericks could take over the seeding spot from the Clippers just because they lost the game to the Suns. And that would just change up the whole playoff dynamic, because then the Clippers should have been playing, let's say, like the 7th seed, but now they're playing the 6th seed because they became the 3 seed.
Yeah. It's going to show that it's the Western Conference. It's been amazing just because everyone has clinched except Memphis and Portland, just because they're battling
Obviously.
it out.
Yeah.
Of course. In my opinion, I don't think Sacramento or New Orleans have a chance, really.
Neither do I.
But
Pains me to say, but neither do I.
I don't even think Phoenix or Spurs do, just because Trailblazers and Grizzlies are just such a fast tempo team. Ja has changed the momentum in this game on how to play it. In my opinion, I think he's played this season with such a fast pace, with such intensity, to the point where he's going over Aaron Baines, dunking while he's going towards the bench, which was absurd. But I think anyone has it at this point, other than those bottom 4 teams. I think
could see the Pelicans or the Spurs sneaking in for the Grizzlies spot just because Jaren Jackson Jr. is out. But if that injury doesn't play a big role, like if he comes back in the next couple games, then yes, I see those 2 spots being 7 and 8.
Yeah. Also, I want to touch upon the Denver Nuggets lineup. What do you think about that? And me personally, I think it's a crazy lineup. I think it's so unique. I've never seen a team do it, in my opinion.
I think the Denver Nuggets lineup is crazy just because they're running the biggest lineup probably in history, because to run a 7-2 point guard with Jamal Murray at the shooting guard, having Gary Harris at the small forward, Michael Porter Jr. at power forward, who's 7 foot, and then Bull at center. It's just like one of the tallest lineups you'll ever see. And Jokic literally is the point guard for their team. He's a point god. The guy is honestly insane just because of how tall he is and how great his passing ability is. He has court vision like John Stockton does.
Yeah. Well, right now, since they started this lineup, Gary Harris, Will Barton, and Jamal Murray weren't playing, which is surprising.
So they're probably running full bigs and then grabbing them for the bench.
Yeah, they haven't been playing. They were out for their first couple games. I don't really know what's happening right now with them, but they haven't been playing. I was watching one of their games. They were wearing masks, t-shirt, and jeans, which surprised me. I don't know why would they be there. They might be injured that I didn't hear about, but yeah. And touching upon lineups, I very much dislike the Rockets lineup, running a 6'6" center, in my opinion, I think it's just a terrible lineup, in my opinion. Even though you have the best backcourt in the league, I don't like it. I
think that any Anthony Davis, Rudy Gobert, Andre Drummond, even though he's not in the bubble, any decent rebounder who's above 7 foot is going to outboard PJ Tucker probably 10-1.
He's also going to be out muscling them.
Yeah, for sure. He could be posting them in the paint. He could be literally catching lobs over PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker, he could definitely stretch. Like, that team could stretch the floor in probably 5 seconds because of how small they are. But that also has its disadvantages just because of how small they are. Like, it's good to have a small ball lineup, but it's also bad to run small ball lineup. And you could see it as they're good for the offense aspect, but awful for the defense aspect.
Yeah. All right, last question for Badgemon. Who do you think's winning the chip this year?
Honestly, I have to see the playoff brackets, but off rip, I'm thinking it's either gonna go. I don't think it's the Lakers. Everyone's saying the Lakers. I don't see it being the Lakers.
I don't think so either.
The Lakers have dropped too many easy games. They should have beat the Raptors. They lost to the they beat the Jazz, but by barely. Like, literally, Anthony Davis had to hit a head top 3 over Rudy Gobert to win that game. Like,
yeah.
I don't see them doing well late in games. I see the chip either going to Milwaukee, or I could see it going to... Actually, I think Milwaukee, honestly, is the only team I could see winning it right now.
In my opinion, this might seem biased, but Toronto's been playing out of their mind. I think it's Milwaukee or Toronto.
I think Milwaukee or Toronto is going to come. Whoever's coming out of the East, if it's either Milwaukee or Toronto, probably will be whoever they're playing in the finals for the chip.
I don't think Clippers will come up against the Raptors, but I could see them coming up just because they do have Paul George and Kawhi, but it didn't really show a difference when you had LeBron James and Anthony Davis against them. So
exactly.
There's a lot that can happen.
I think LeBron and Davis are better than Paul George and Kawhi because they have the different heights and different skill sets.
Yeah. Kawhi and Paul George are very similar, in my opinion, defensive mindsets and three-point. Like, they could do everything, but...
They're a 3-and-D player.
Yeah. That's what the whole Clippers team is, honestly.
3-and-D, yeah.
So, yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. We're going to be coming out with a series every Saturday. You'll see a video up, and peace out.